Hello and welcome to the Citi Newsroom. My name is Vivian Kai. Local coming up. Ministry of Health describes as untrue reports that there have been recorded deaths due to the shortage of vaccines. Meanwhile, the ministry assures it is working in earnest to procure the vaccines.
It is important to correct the erroneous impression that there have been deaths from measles in Ghana recently. For the avoidance of doubt, there have been no deaths from the recently recorded spike in measles cases. Indeed, there have been no deaths since 2003 in our country.
Member of Parliament for Ashiaman wants the Speaker of Parliament to refer the conduct of some military men
residents of the community, preventing them from going about their daily activities. It is not done. That is human rights abuse.
Still to come, over 5 people feared dead following Tuesday morning's rains in the Greater Accra region.
This is exactly what we are witnessing now. Now we have lost a community member, and it is so sad and unfortunate. Look at how the mother is crying uncontrollably.
And later, Managing Director of Citi FM and Citi TV assures Chief of PAGA of plans to pile pressure on relevant authorities to reconstruct the border mains gate at the Ghana-Burkina Faso.
All who matter to try to reconstruct the border main gate or the arch which used to contain the inscriptions "Bye-bye, safe journey," and on the opposite side, "Welcome to Ghana."
We'll do our best as a media house to highlight all the issues that you have raised and make sure that the people whose duty it is to resolve this issue are made aware.
And let's bring you details of our stories and start with health. The Ministry of Now, Ghana has for weeks been experiencing a shortage in routine vaccines for children. It is working in earnest to procure the vaccines. The following report has more.
Vaccines for measles, polio, and tetanus have been scarce since the second quarter of 2022. Financial challenges and a global shortage have been attributed to the shortage of these vaccines. Parents of unvaccinated babies are being turned away from health facilities over the shortage. However, admitting that there is a shortage, the Minister of Health urged the public to reject rumors of the recorded deaths due to scarcity. He, however, assured the procurement of the vaccines as soon as possible.
Ghana's Minister of Health has been making efforts to ensure we secure adequate stocks of vaccines despite this global challenge. We have made all necessary efforts to ensure that despite these challenges, we secure adequate stocks within the next few weeks. It is important to correct the erroneous impression for measles in Ghana recently. For the avoidance of doubt, there have been no deaths from the recently recorded spike in measles cases. Indeed, there have been no deaths since 2003 in our country, though we have recorded cases annually. Finally, despite the challenge, Ghana's immunization coverage remains among the best in the world, and in 2021, we recorded 95% coverage. Working with UNICEF, we are fast-tracking the processes, and it is expected that vaccines will be supplied in the next few weeks, all things being equal. The Minister of Health, ladies and gentlemen, will ensure that we stay on track with immunization record and quickly overcome these bottlenecks.
The minister further debunked reports that the Global Alliance for Vaccines and Immunization is threatening to withdraw support for about 10 vaccines it supplies to Ghana over indebtedness.
This is quite personal. As a human being, when somebody is dying, when people are crying for help, you have sympathy, and everybody expresses passion towards such people. I can't just look on and so wickedly turn my face away. So I feel like when COVID caught us and everybody was dying and we were all panicking, how everybody felt after seeing a patient in an ICU installation on a bed, dying and grasping for oxygen. That is how I feel. The irony of it is that we have brought a lot of politics into this very interesting national matter. Fortunately, I'm a member of the Gavi board. So the type of things my colleague is talking to you guys can never be true. And you can mark it. Because of our performance on vaccinations, including even COVID, Gavi has elected and selected Ghana to have one of their board meetings here in December this year. That is how far we have gone. So what we have, we are using politics to drive people away from us. What we have, we are using politics to destroy this. Look at the script I wrote, the report by WHO and US CDC, the number of countries where we are seeing even deaths. And here in Ghana, for the past how many years, since 2003, 30 years, no death caused by measles. The recent outbreak, nobody has died. So what are we about? Lies or national interest like this?
There were the shortages of vaccines, and following that shortage of childhood vaccines across the country, the Accra Metro Public Health is worried there may be dire consequences if the situation is not tackled. Now, for months, nursing mothers have been complaining of shortage of vaccines meant for babies from birth to at least 18 months. Now, the situation became worse in February as major health facilities kept turning nursing mothers away due to the erratic supply of vaccine. Now, Citi News' Akosia Autry has more. She's been moving around today. Akosia, what can you tell us from your movement?
So Citi News has been following up on the situation at the various health facilities in Accra with regards to the shortage of childhood vaccines. Well, I'm here at the Adabraka Polyclinic, and I'll be engaging some mothers who say that the situation at hand is very worrying. Well, they want the government to intercede. This mother here who has just given birth, I understand that has been able to get some of the vaccines for her child, but has not been able to get the others. So I'll just engage her briefly to find out what she makes of the situation at hand. Okay, me usa wako bafu. Uone dabe. Una no pawi. When you congrats.
Thank you.
Say there cause the as a mother's ni be very worried. You say vaccine ni bi ni ho aye de be ma nkola no na o de na
Ba me ano pe me ba no omoji ma wo no omo so ma wo no pani ni bintu. Me sure say bi ho ba bi aba na embe do ha say ya nso be nye bia ye de e de awo nkola.
Usha e ade e be ha o pan say o ba ni unvaccinated.
Had ever happened because I compose say one sapper. It is a being what I beham. Many of us in the Melbourne Pie say I bind Bebo, my dear, no money be a basta bear, or Benny Biao.
How many times now was it hospital frequency?
See, and minimum say about 1 week time, but days now can aji about 1 week time and be home days I carry the baby. And the message Brian say, dear panel child, vaccine almost see a short near them. On board, they are no money beneath in brand, and so young colana.
The Accra Metro Health Public Directorate is worried that if the situation is not addressed as
had been vaccinated upon, it will boost their immune system and it will reduce in the spread of some of these diseases in the communities. And what are some of these six childhood killer diseases? We have the tetanus, we have the whooping cough, we have the measles, we have the polio, we have the tuberculosis, and etc. So when children are not vaccinated against these 6 childhood killer diseases and they happens to be infected, can easily either kill the child or it can lead to spreading of such preventable diseases in the communities. Northern region, 16 districts in the northern region have all recorded measles, and we know what measles can do. Measles can lead to the death of a child. It can even lead to a child losing their sight. That is one of the things that measles can cause a child.
Then this must be serious.
And it is serious. So I think government is also working around the clock, because we heard that they said by the close of this week, vaccines that are not in the system will be brought in to save the emergency that we are facing now.
She also called on mothers to take precautions in the interim as they await on government to provide these vaccines.
So the vaccines will come to help those that are yet to be infected with this disease. When they are immunized, they are not likely to be infected from those that have already gotten it. So it will go a long way to help, because you know the SDGs, we are all trying to bring down the children under 5 years mortality. So if the vaccines are not there, that we are likely maybe to fall short of that goal. Mothers should take care of their children. If a child happens to be infected with measles, parents should take very good care of the children. They should do isolation, hand washing properly to prevent those that have already gotten it to infect others.
Mothers and various hospital facilities want government to quicken efforts in ensuring that these vaccines are made available. Reporting for Citi News, Akosia Ochre.
Let's move away from health and go to security, because the Member of Parliament for Ashiaman, Ernest Nogwe, wants the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, to refer the conduct of some military men who invaded his constituency on Tuesday to the Privileges Committee of Parliament for investigations. Now, some soldiers were reported to have besieged the community and attacked residents, preventing others from stepping out of their homes following an attack on a military officer that led to his death in the area over the weekend. The following report has more.
Videos on social media captured terrified residents hiding in their homes as military helicopters and armored vehicles paraded the neighborhood. The armed officers were seen physically assaulting residents who dared to set out for work. Traumatized residents hid themselves at home for fear of their lives over the bizarre incident, which has been attributed to the alleged killing of an army officer in the area. Some of the residents have been speaking to Citi News.
becoming very dangerous. Everyone is scared and they are hiding in their homes. If you're a boy, a young man, or whatever, you'll be beaten. Even if you're a woman and you dress in a certain way, you are a suspect to them, they will beat you up. A few of them are armed, but they are not using their arms on anyone. They're using their boots, their hands, and all that.
Cars passing, especially if you're a male, they just drag you out, beat you, and then, because I was watching across the wall. So any car passing, they stop you, especially if you're a man, they drag you out, they beat you, and they say that people kill our how do you call it, our colleague. You know, Ashama of Shelter is an area that is always buzzing. By 4 or 5 people will be out going to work, people are doing their shop. But as to speak, stores across the stretch, virtually, I would, if not for the soldiers, I would have said maybe it's got the rain. But virtually, the street is very, very quiet. Right from the official town tire station all the way to heading to Ashama New Town, the place is has turned to a ghost town.
Efforts to reach the military for response has not been fruitful. For a parliamentary probe.
Why was this thing happening? Because one of their own was killed in Ashaman on Saturday, which I may condemn on no uncertain terms, because you cannot take anybody's life into your own hands. It is never done. And whoever has done that, I want the police and then the military to go after that person, arrest the person, and let the person face the full rigors of the law. But that is not to say that the military should take the law into their own hands by invading the whole community, the whole Ashama constituency, molesting people, molesting residents of the community, preventing them from going about their daily activities. It is not done. That is human rights abuse. You can't just get up, walk into a community because 1 or 2 people have committed a crime and you are looking for the perpetrators of such crimes, and so therefore everybody in the community has become a suspect all of a sudden. It is never done. So far, they have to recall their men back to the barracks. And I'm also making a statement on the floor. The Speaker will have to refer this matter to the Committee of Defense and Interior, which I belong, and so that we probe into it, because this is becoming one too many. Any time, any day, a military guy is being touched, which I say on authority that right should be taken off. So, but any time this is done or this occurs in any community, you see the military trooping in to just create unnecessary tension. It happened in Wai, it happened in so many other areas.
Meanwhile, the ranking member on the Defense and Interior Committee of Parliament, James Agalga, is calling on the military command to liaise with the police in ensuring persons who killed the military officer are apprehended.
Following the unfortunate killing of the soldier, I expected that the military would have liaised with the police. And it is the province of the police to detect, arrest, and prosecute for crime. Liaised with the police to fish out for the perpetrators of that heinous act and bring the perpetrators to justice. Arraign them before the law courts, prosecute them, and if they are found guilty, they are dealt with in accordance with our laws.
On his part, security analyst Professor Kwesi Enin believes an inquiry must be done with expediency to punish officers who flouted orders, while civilians responsible for the death of the officer must be found and made to face the law.
Well, I think it's personal indiscipline, a sense of hate, the need to demonstrate that they can punish those who have challenged the authority of the military. So I think there are quite a number of possible reasons. But irrespective of whatever reasons that people may have, I want to make 2 prefatory remarks. One, that all crimes are punishable by law. But in punishing those crimes, a person is in uniform representing the state of Ghana. When you attack that person, irrespective of what reasons you have, you have attacked the state of Ghana. This will need some board of inquiry as to what happened, the chain of command, who issued what order, and the type of orders that were issued, and whether those orders were deliberately flouted because people were very upset. And then I think the disciplinary measures will then kick in. But what has happened is most unfortunate. And in terms of where we are, this is something that Ghana doesn't need right now. Has been handled with expediency because there's a lot of frustration, there's a lot of unhappiness out there. Crimes are not accepted, and the unfortunate manner in which this young man was murdered, irrespective of whatever reason people had, those people must be identified and punished by a court of competent jurisdiction.
Electrocuted following Tuesday morning's heavy rains at Malambola Road and McCarthy Hills in the Greater Accra region. According to an eyewitness account, the man who died at Malam was seen touching his gate, which electrocuted him as he stepped out of his house after the rains. We have more on this report filed by Citi News' Hekmatu Mohammed Suleimana and read by Charles Kumi.
The rains, which started at about 3:45 a.m. on Tuesday, lasted for more than 3 hours. The rains flooded areas in Kaneshie, Malam, and other adjoining communities within the Greater Accra region. According to Kwekuche, a landlord of one of the deceased at Malam Bola Road, he came outside after the downpour and found one of his tenants dead.
About 2 o'clock, and he started saying, I mean, say, boy, we were tenants about or come or kaka or to two in no, young she. The young woman say, lights and I'll connect Yafa, the poor we see. Did he mean we are? Then we are some my one boy, say, when she on the fight, no go to him, go take a see the chiro. Na almost dying any toilet in no maybe on the scenes you know qua Nessan Beach. Oh, Bokaku. The Abu Assembly money, your mobile money, but up to now be a country.
The assemblyman for Malambola Road, Derek Namitiasi, pleaded with the government to provide storm drains for the community.
Seriously, we need a proper drainage, a storm drain, a big one. In fact, a big one that can hold the water. This will prevent a lot of prevent the flooding. So we are pleading. We are just pleading to the municipal chief executive and the MC.
At McCarthy Hills, a landlord, Eko Mensah, explained to Citi News that he was working on expanding the drain by his house during the rains when his son discovered the deceased in his room.
Into one on medium mikada me pa na ma bohwe na ya de dum light no into one na me ba bema kakraba all the torch light on the namunsunum no call that we fi misisi aye on the back kakraba o ye ne yanko into all the boy wura ho no no so me papa o dem me me bas kakraba no ye no the torch light o do ko no ko hunde raf de nsunum wen wu ofia ha wo ye man no ye yimpa 4 Impa 4, boys are Kugujum 4, me am count 5. Near than a call, Akawi. It's yet than a quack away. Akawi no wheel. Yen rain inside the hole. What's me in rain inside the hole? Because of no home waste my end, one you bed, won't to one gin. Oh, Auntie, Mr. Walla, some moon you bed, moon to me gin and poor. One barman, first aid. Na baby, I'm hoping in your corner, in your quine near the Yen.
The assemblyman for McCarthy Hills South, Clement J, explained that structures in waterways have prevented rainwater from flowing freely to prevent flooding.
Rains. And the community people detected that there is a blockade at the main drain to the downstream here. And we didn't waste time, and we reported the issue to the municipal urban roads engineer. And as I'm talking to 2 weeks ago, my colleague assembly member, Honorable Yao Sakwajima Prempe, even reported the issue to the municipal urban roads engineer about the blockade, because sometimes we don't have to wait for something of this nature to happen.
Meanwhile, 2 siblings, a 9- and 10-year-old, have also died following floods at Botiano in the Gansal municipality of the Greater Accra region. The early morning downpour on Tuesday led to the collapse of the residential apartment housing the 2 children. Our Central Regional correspondent Calvis Tete has more.
According to mother of the deceased children, the apartment was collapsed by rationing water. Even though she attempted to save the children, the speed of the water made it difficult to save the children.
Yeah, well, them. You to the beer stop the giants in himself as a son. Then the Fofian Twata. And then they boo, remember phoning in a the other room, and you saw me, and sock it when. When you need to show the 5 different way, crown a baby and sweaty. You know, I ran a Kituano so beman in a chiba no so called. Penny so soon. Run into Mama and diet so. That lay any so. That made him say diet so.
The bodies of the children were later found several meters away from their residence through a community search team. Some eyewitnesses spoke to Citi News.
It's rather unfortunate, but then, like I said, we woke up this morning with this bad news. And losing one child is not easy for, parents to lose 2 children for no fault of theirs, you understand. But anyway, this is what we've been experiencing. It's the MPs come, we don't see anything.
For a very long time now, we have poor drainage systems, and we've been complaining a lot, and series of letters have gone to the assemblies, to the MP and all those. Well, we'll keep on being assured that it will be constructed. For years and years now, nothing has been done. And when you look at the number of houses, the buildings that have been constructed around, you can see for yourself that, just imagine like this building, when it rains, the volume of water that will fall on the building, where does it go? It all goes down. Where does it go? All the places developed. So we need a very good drainage system.
And it's only top 320 that way. Benifian Kenya. You know, your boy, you're pretty with a bind. That's a hard dream because Colombo is, Chalo, he will be.
Chairman of the Landlords Association of Botiano, Benedict Chey, says building on waterways must be demolished. According to him, the excess flood water from the Kaswa Tollbooth section finds its way into the community when it rains and wants the demolition done to save the situation.
People complain. They complain to the assembly. What sometimes baffles you, come and see stop work. When they write stop work, there's a date attached to it. You go the other time, you see that the construction is going. So you pick the diligence of the assembly that if they see that the place, somebody is building an unauthorized place, action must be taken immediately. Because when the person builds to a certain level, that is where you have to try and see where the water will pass. But if you immediately from day one, you demolish it. And what is happening now, this is not the first time somebody has died. This is not the first time. The wall got broken and it killed one boy over here. If it's raining and you are standing here, you run away.
100% ready for the assembly to come and do the demolition. Demolition is, you see, as we are saying now, they are crying, blaming the government now. But if the assembly comes in now to demolish, we'll see what will happen. Either the MP, either the MCE, or the president is going to be attacked.
The death of two minors, an 8-year-old and a 12-year-old, has turned the Babadogo community into a state of mourning. Residents want government to address the flooding situation in the area. Cav Stete, Citi News, Botiano.
And you're still watching the Citi Newsroom. My name is Vivian Kai. Local still to come. President Akufo-Addo expected to present the State of the Nation's address on Wednesday in Parliament. Ahead of the presentation, some members of Parliament expressed diverse expectations about the constitutional exercise. To stay with us, we'll be right back.
Plus is a fully skimmed evaporated milk. Creamy Plus is available in a shop near you.
This message has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Within the diner, HIV in February 9 no credit na adding years semajatum, a bram yen shishemuno. Ne drew ni baby a dominancy in fiancé, a draw by a Ghana.
I'm Paul, Cabran, and Fiabiachi, na anterior to Varan, Rebini Hop.
Say, young family HIV Mwawana say, She say your home I free. I dare Bakoni say, antiretroviral, so one pepper pesa de yatro now. A could say HIV Mwawano. I was soon see how you show more and one brassy. No intimate some farmer will be for Nemo Kai, so Benum would dream.
Yes, say any animal more HIV Mwawana be say. On antiretroviral no ye, yet near to Asa say in 50 million diasa.
Hey, welcome back to the Citi Newsroom. Now, President Akufo-Addo is expected to present the State of the Nation's address on Wednesday in Parliament. Now, ahead of the presentation, some members of Parliament have expressed diverse expectations about the constitutional exercise. We'll go to Parliament and speak to Ni Ayikwe Okine, who is our man on that beat. Ni, what more can you tell us?
President Akufo-Addo is expected to present the State of the Nation's address in Parliament on Wednesday, March 8, 2023, in accordance with the Constitution. Now, this is an address that seeks to highlight the government's key policy objectives for the ensuing year and also detail how the government intends to tackle current economic situations. Now, ahead of this presentation, some members of parliament have been sharing their expectations with Citi News.
They always say and fail, so we don't even trust what they are coming to say. What we are expecting from them tomorrow is just to come and apologize to Ghanaians and ask all of us to come on board to support them, help them to rebuild this, our poor nation, because they have failed woefully and we are not expecting anything good from them again. Because they will say A, they will do B, they will say look up, and before you realize they are looking down. And in fact, because of the failures, we don't trust any of them anymore.
Obviously, tomorrow we would expect the president to give Ghanaians some sense of hope and assurances, and also expecting that the IMF would be something that will be approved by the middle of end of March. So our expectation of the president is to just reiterate and give us the confirmation and assurance, not only to we the parliamentarians, but the president is the president for the whole country, and the Ghanaians are expectant to hear something good and encouraging. And we know the president is somebody of steam, and we know that
and the status of the economy as we speak. I don't think this government can do anything about the situation unless change of government comes.
Not even a success that has been chalked in any sector.
Oh, I'm telling you on authority that the economic condition of this country is still right now, it's in the mortuary. Yeah, so there's nothing we can do about it. It's in a mob. You need a new crop of new ideas, people with new crop of ideas, people who have this country at heart to actually come on board to address this issue.
Every Ghanaian, and especially the people of Doma East, Wenfie, Wanafo, Doma East, Komedia Supra, all that they want to hear is the president talking about the destruction, our IMF processes, whatever we are doing, where is our economy, where is it going? That is what they want to hear. And I'm sure if the Doma East people, the woman in Esotiano, that my uncle in Chiramasu, if they hear the president giving them hope, knowing very well that they are going to bring back youth economy, I'm sure they will be excited about it.
Reporting from Parliament, my name is Ni Aikwe Okain for Citi News.
Meanwhile, the state of Ghana's economy is expected to be high on the agenda when President Akufo-Addo addresses the nation through Parliament on Wednesday, March 7. The president will provide an update on the overall outlook of the country in fulfillment of Article 67 of the Constitution. We have more in this report.
Pursuant to Article 67 of the 1992 Constitution, President Akufo-Addo is expected to be in Parliament on Wednesday, March 8, 2022, to deliver to the Ghanaian people through their representatives a State of the Nation's address. This would be the President's 7th State of the Nation's address since he became President in 2017. The year 2022 was one of the most difficult for Ghana. The local currency ended the year with a 38.86% year-to-date loss to the US dollar. This steep depreciation of the cedi resulted in high fuel prices and an inflationary rate of 50.4% to end the year. On the back of these economic difficulties, and Ghanaian traders will be expectant to hear the president on strategies to revive the economy.
Last year, we realized that our currency was depreciating seriously, and we had a series of meetings with the Council of State, which went well to some extent, but the currency still kept depreciating, and we had to take action by going on strike, closing of shops. Eventually, we had to meet the president, and we made known our grievances, and therefore tomorrow we are expecting him to touch on seriously our currency. Now it appreciated a bit getting to the end of the year, and then beginning of the year it appreciated again. Now it's hovering around 30 cedis plus to the dollar, which is still having its implications on businesses. So that is key. Then we are looking at the other taxes, VAT, and the other ones that have come on board. and then the general environment with doing businesses.
For the past few vaccines in the country, the vaccines that have been used to prevent the 6 killer diseases have been in short supply, creating panic amongst mothers and health professionals. The Pediatric Society of Ghana is expecting President Akufo-Addo to touch on the effort government is making to import these vaccines in the short term and the plan to begin manufacturing vaccines in the country.
Considering the importance we attach to the health of children and in the life of children, and what we are seeing currently as a result of shortage of vaccination, with outbreaks of measles, which is disease preventable by vaccination in childhood, and the magnitude its impact can have on the Sustainable Development Goal 3, which is reducing under 5 mortality, reversal of the gains that we have achieved. As Pediatric Society, we are expecting that at least this will be highlighted by all our leaders, and then also practically state what interventions that are being put in place to resolve what is happening now, and also to prevent what potentially can in the sense that Ghana has actually grown from the low income countries to low middle income countries. We should be able to sustain this.
You're still watching the Citi Newsroom. My name is Vivian Kailoko. When we come back, Managing Director of Citi TV and Citi FM assures Chief of PAGA of plans to pile pressure on relevant authorities to reconstruct the border main gate at the Ghana-Burkina Faso border. You stay with us, we'll be right back.
Anyone can become a household.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You Go Flip, a real estate gaming platform that allows you to play and stand a chance of winning a house or cash or consolidated prizes, such as savings towards a house. Simple and easy to play. Visit www.yougoflip.com. Buy a ticket to enter the game. Wait for the end of the game to enjoy the win. Anywhere and win. Flip it or own it. You Go Flip. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Play responsibly, not for persons below 18 years, and gaming can be addictive.
And you're welcome back to the Citi Newsroom. Now, Ghana is hosting Operation Flintlock for the first time in 15 years. The British High Commission, on behalf of its partners, the American Embassy, on Tuesday opened the joint military headquarters for Operation Flintlock to counter terrorism in the Sahel and West African countries. Now, this exercise will be conducted in Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire from March 1st to 15, 2023, with approximately 1,300 service members from 29 participating nations. There's more on this report filed by Rachel Eggman,
which is the U.S. Africa Command's premier and largest annual exercise, aims at strengthening civil-military relations as well as combat violent extremism in the Sahel and West Africa regions. The initiative has been conducted since 2005. U.S. Special Operations Command Africa is conducting this year's exercise in Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire from March 1 to 15, 2023, with approximately 1,300 personnel from 29 participating countries. In light of this development, the British High Commission, on behalf of its partners, the American Embassy, on Tuesday, launched a joint military headquarters for Operation Flintlock.
It's been going on since the 1st of March, and hopefully we should be ending on the 15th of March. From the 1st to the 5th, we had what we call the Academics Week at all the locations, where we want the troops to take us through some mission planning, tactical exercises and all that. Today marks the beginning of
Through close coordination and planning with stakeholders, there has been an expansion of headquarters staff, allowing participants foster a collaborative environment to address regional security concerns.
This year we have expanded the headquarters, allowing each participant the opportunity to increase communications with each other, strengthen our abilities to share information, and foster a collaborative environment to address regional security concerns.
Meanwhile, UK High Commissioner to Ghana, Harriet Thompson, expressed her utmost delight to host the joint multinational headquarters at the British High Commission in Accra.
While Flintlock is at its core a military exercise, we know how important it is for the military and civilian efforts to be able to work together. So we're delighted that this operation will also see temporary medical and dental clinics working with communities to support healthcare provision, as well as women's peace and security events and initiatives taking place.
Now, the Caravan Nights on the 4th day of the Heritage Caravan made a stop at the Paga Crocodile Pond in the Upper East region to experience nature. Now, the team further paid a courtesy call and later made a stop at the Ghana-Burkina Faso border. Now, the Caravan Nights will later today visit the Red Clay Studio owned by international artist Ibrahim Mahama. Citi News' Kwekwe Duama Ansah has a wrap of events for today.
We're halfway through the 2023 edition of the Heritage Caravan. Today we will be continuing with our journey, but then let me just do a recap of where we've been to so far. So we started our trip from the Greater Accra region to the Volta region. To be precise, we went to Amejope, where we used the canopy walkway. It was a very long hurdle for a lot of patrons, but hey, most of them, after the tiring walk, they say that it was still enjoying for them. And so we moved from there and went to lodge at the Royal Senchi Hotel. Luxury is what you can use to describe what we saw there. Great food, great music, because it was topped up by the Kwampa musical band. And oh my gee, you know how they do it. Well, we moved from there and then had to come all the way south to the Ashanti region. That was where the Bonre art culture was ready for us to give us an experience. We were taught a number of things. We were taught about the kente, how we get it done, and even the types of kente we even have here in the country. And remember, that was sponsored by European Union in Ghana. Today is the very nice day, and we're expected to go to the Paga Crocodile Pond, which we will be doing so very soon. But then even before we go, we have an exhibition for you, and this is because, you know, when you get to Bolga, there are a number of things that you need to look forward to. One is the smoke. Let me speak to the executive director of the offshore event. He's the one leading this front for us. I'm grateful for your time.
I'm grateful too.
So we see a lot of things here. I mean, the smoke is one thing that comes to mind anytime you come to this part of the country.
And it's going to continue. There's a bigger fair that will be Bassa Fest, Bow Arts Foundation Street Art Festival. Will be a 2 weeks festival, probably somewhere next year onward.
Let me get interactive with some of the caravanites, some of them who have already gotten their things ready. So you got a heart here and
the slippers, the carries.
Wow. Why did you go in for these?
Oh, because I actually like African stuff. So when I saw it, they were beautiful, so I decided to get it. And for these, they are very colorful and it will match anything I wear. So.
And I must say that you're looking gorgeous in them.
Thank you.
Well, so we'll be heading to Paga, the crocodile pond. What are you expecting? Have you seen a crocodile before, a live one?
No, I've actually not been to the north before. So this caravan is actually good for me because it makes me see other parts of Ghana, which I've never been to. So this is my first time being in the north and I'm loving it here. The weather is nice this morning. And I'm looking forward to the crocodile pond as well.
Have you seen a live one before?
No, I haven't.
Are you scared already?
Not really, but I mean, I'm expecting to see or touch one. Yes.
Are you sure you can touch it?
Yes, I can.
Are you not going to run away?
No, I'm not going to run away.
Okay. Well, so as part of the itinerary for today, the patrons of the Heritage Caravan are expected to pay a courtesy call off on the chief of Paga, and that happened. And the chief used the opportunity to call on Citi FM and Citi TV to use his platform to call for the reconstruction of the main border gate that moves or connects people from Ghana to Burkina Faso. He says that it's been long overdue for the reconstruction works to begin.
Is use your good offices to take it up to all who matter to try to reconstruct the border main gate or the arch which used to contain the inscriptions "Bye-bye, safe journey," and on the opposite side, "Welcome to Ghana," with a huge black star on top of it. And it was like what we have in Accra, Independence Square. The arch was like that, the main gate. I must add that on this reconstruction, the French version should be added. It should also be translated into French so that when the French are entering, the French-speaking people are entering, they can also have a glimpse of what is written on it. The arch indeed was one of the sites that attracted most tourists. It was constructed by our first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, in the late 50s, but was recently pulled down to make way for a bigger one, but has since remained a mirage.
Fortunately, we came last year and it was the same thing which didn't look good. So we had actually promised to come and replace, I think 3 years ago, and COVID just stepped in, so that's what slowed us down small. But we'll do our best as a media house to highlight all the issues that you have raised and make sure that the people whose duty it is to resolve this issue are made aware. We will also use our medium to complement the efforts and see what can be done, particularly that emblematic feature of the Welcome to Ghana thing that used to be there.
We would first of all take a brief history from the tour guide on how come we're having this crocodile pond here in the Upper East region. Run by us the brief history of this pond. I understand it's not just one, we have other ones.
Welcome to Paga Chief Crocodile Pond. We have other crocodile ponds. This is the main one. That is why we call this one Chief Crocodile Pond. And the history of the crocodiles in Paga, it starts with the founder of this community, the man named called Nave, and he moved from a certain community in the present-day Burkina Faso. Yeah, he was a prince, and he was the only son of his mother in the family. But down here, the chiefs, they have a lot of wives, a lot of children. So after the death of their father, that's the chief, the children want to contest for the position of the chieftaincy. So the stepbrothers believe that this man called Nave is likely to win the title. So through that, it created a dispute in the family. They wanted to kill him because of the throne. So one day, Nave left Kampala and he was running to this direction. By then, there was nobody living here, no Ghana, no Burkina Faso. So towards to this place, he got to a very large river. The river was full of water. So he has no means to use and cross the water by water, believe that this should be the spirit of their ancestors who turned into the crocodile to come and rescue him.
Not too far from where I am, you'll see some of the patrons taking pictures with the crocodile. That one is quite bigger as compared to the one very close to me. So I'll just get closer to this one, which has come out at the moment. And as you can see, it is stationed on the ground. I mean, I am quite scared, but then I'll try my best. Let me speak to Mommy, who is enjoying the... Okay, yeah, she's daring to get closer to it. You have come very close. Why are you not getting closer to it? We go here. You told me that you were going to touch the tail. Okay. So she's trying to do that. Well.
I've done it.
All right. So she's been able to do that. Currently, people are taking pictures. I just want them to share the experience with me. Let me speak to Mama Lydia. Mama Lydia, you've been able to get closer to it. You've touched it. What was the experience like?
It's so interesting. I've enjoyed it, and I hope my children will be happy seeing me here.
But is it your first time seeing a real crocodile?
Yes, the first time.
I'm just trying to dare her to do more, and I think she's also done it. Let me also see if am I permitted to touch the tail? Hey. Okay, so hey, Charlie, that's in some way. So no, I'm okay. I would engage her also, find out her experience. Before you even got here, what was running through your mind?
I was scared. I was praying there won't be any casualty at this place, but so the big one was really scary, but I think it's slow, so we're able to take our pictures with the big one. And as long as the tourist guides are here, at least you are calm, you know that they'll be here to take care of the crocodiles in case one of them misbehaves. So overall, it was a very great experience.
So this is the Ghanaian border to its neighboring country, that is Burkina Faso. And as it was rightly stated by the chief of this community, he says that the need for facelift is very important. And as you can see, it's difficult for you to even notice where you've gotten to. Apart from just this sign that indicates Burkina Faso, it is difficult for people moving either from Ghana into Burkina Faso or vice versa to even find out where they are. So they think that there's a need for an emblematic feature to be placed here.
With the border in and out, because they work here, they live there. So that has been, but we have what we call the border residents. They are the people who live 5 kilometers radius on each side. They may be nationals of Ghana or not, but because of the nature of their movement and by our virtue of our work, we know them.
Well, that's it for today's edition of the City Newsroom. Our website, citynewsroom.com, has more. Subscribe to CityTube on YouTube for more exclusive video content from Citi TV. You can also watch Citi TV on DSTV channel 363 and GoTV channel 182. My name is Vivian Kai Loco. Thank you so much for joining. Goodbye.